This is Channel 25 WVTT Olean. Now, from the Twin Tiers' biggest broadcast news operation, this is the 6 o'clock report with Jeff Androlonis and Alexa Olson. Listen on News Radio 96.7 WVTT or watch on News Channel 25 WVTT television. WVTT proudly presents the 6 o'clock report.
Good evening, I'm Alexa Olson.
And I'm Jeff Androlonis. Good evening. The big story tonight on the 6 o'clock report. The case involves the local man who wants half of the Facebook social media behemoth. Joining us live in the WVTT digital newsroom, WVTT's Valerie Tysaner, who tells us why Paul Seglia's attorney wants to drop Seglia as a client. So Valerie, what's happening?
Hi, Jeff. Paul Seglia sued Facebook in 2010, saying that he owned part of the company, and today he could be losing his lawyer. Dean Boland, the latest in a string of lawyers representing Seglia, asked a federal judge permission to withdraw from the case earlier today. He said his client, Paul Seglia, was arrested on criminal charges of wire and mail fraud for allegedly faking evidence. Seglia has pleaded not guilty to those charges, and Boland won't publicly say why he wants to withdraw, but he does emphasize that it isn't because he believes Seglia committed fraud. Boland's hearing was set for today, held by phone, because Facebook's attorneys are based in New York City, while Boland's office is in Lakewood, Ohio.
Seglia said that he's owed 50% of Mark Zuckerberg's stake because of a project that they worked on, sort of the predecessor to Facebook, called Street Facts.
According to this week's indictment, Seglia was contracted to work with Zuckerberg, but he doctored the illegitimate contract to instead say, quote, Zuckerberg would provide Seglia with at least 50% interest in Facebook. Facebook says Seglia's lawsuit is a, quote, brazen and outrageous fraud on the court. They also say Seglia is an invertebrate scam artist. If Seglia is convicted, he could face up to 40 years in prison. At least half a dozen lawyers and firms have withdrawn from the case before Boland. Seglia is also represented by attorney Paul Argenteria of Cornell. And Dean Boland's withdrawal comes at a very inconvenient time for Seglia, who was indicted today on federal fraud charges. He is scheduled to appear in Manhattan federal court tomorrow, and we will, of course, have all the latest news on this case on our Facebook, our Twitter, and our website. Live in the WVTT digital newsroom, I'm Valerie Tysaner. Back to you, Alexa.
Thanks, Valerie. In other news, the extradition hearing for a Virginia man who allegedly murdered Clymer School Superintendent Keith Reed Jr. is set for next month. A judge set Anthony Taglianetti's extradition hearing date for December 21st. Prosecutors in the case say Taglianetti believed that Reed was having an affair with his wife, so he drove more than 6 hours to shoot him. Taglianetti was arrested several days later in his home state.
After last week's contentious Olean Labor Relations Committee meeting, the Olean Paid Fire Department Union has officially filed a grievance with the city. The union is hoping to block a proposal by Ward 1 Alderman Jim Brady, who wants to see the number of full-time firefighters cut in half. The grievance was hand-delivered to Olean Mayor Linda Witt Monday morning. Alderman Brady tells us that local taxes are too high and a burden on the citizens of the city. The filing of the grievance comes 1 week after the Labor Relations Committee approved the budget cuts.
A man has been charged with kidnapping and assault, among other charges, following an incident in Olean, New York. 39-year-old Dean Pepper of Franklinville allegedly kidnapped his victim and then tried to strangle her. Cattaraugus County sheriffs were called in for assistance in what started out as a domestic dispute. Pepper was arrested and sent to the Cattaraugus County Jail in lieu of $25,000 bail.
EverPower Wind, the company hired by the town of Allegheny to install wind turbines in the Chipmunk and Knapp Creek areas, has filed a second lawsuit against the town in the last month. EverPower officials have now sued the town planning board because the town is requesting they file a supplemental environmental impact statement for the changes in turbines that are going to be used on the project. They're also suing because the town has not given them a further extension on the project. Allegheny consulting attorney Dan Spitzer says he's not worried about the lawsuit. He says he doesn't believe there's any merit to EverPower's claims.
A 2013 budget was approved yesterday for Allegheny County in New York, which will actually reduce the property tax rate by 0.1% instead of the expected small raise. The $111 million budget was approved by a 12-2 vote, and the new tax rate is 0.1% lower than 2012. A tentative budget made back in early October showed a larger tax cut, but Allegheny County officials miscalculated by forgetting to remove tax exemptions.
The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania state government is running late on payments to Potter County. Act 57 of 2005 mandates that the state reimburse counties for 65%, that is, of a full-time district attorney's salary, with the county paying the remaining 35%. Pennsylvania sent in a payment of $75,000 last month. The state still owes more than $140,000. Last year, the state legislature passed a bill to send various fines and costs to a fund to pay for district attorney salaries. Administrators say that this fund will eventually be able to recover county payments in a more timely manner.
13 people were killed in crashes investigated by the Pennsylvania State Troopers during the 5-day Thanksgiving holiday driving period. That's according to State Police Commissioner Frank Noonan. In addition to the 13 fatalities, 349 people were injured in over 1,000 crashes to which troopers responded during the official holiday driving period. Now, 5 of the people killed were not wearing seatbelts, and 2 of the 13 fatal crashes were alcohol-related.
New York Governor Andrew Cuomo held a briefing with New York State's congressional delegation yesterday, including New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg and county executives from counties affected by Superstorm Sandy. The meeting is to review a detailed assessment of the damage as well as future mitigation prevention costs as a result of Hurricane Sandy, as well as discuss New York State's approach to seeking supplemental federal assistance to help cover the repair costs. The cost of the storm is estimated at $32.8 billion in repair and restoration costs and $9.1 billion in mitigation and prevention costs.
Jeff, a baby is dead tonight and its mother is in critical condition in the hospital after an SUV slammed into the car they were driving in. Emergency crews were called to Route 20 in Irving, New York early this morning after the serious crash. The incident happened in front of Signals Discount Tobacco and Gas and Food in Chautauqua County. According to reports from the scene, a vehicle was split in 2 parts during the crash.
Now, Pennsylvania's filled tax credit has attracted many major motion pictures to the Keystone State. Officials from the Pittsburgh and Philadelphia film offices are hoping the state will offer even bigger incentives in the future. State Senator Wayne Fontana of Allegheny County says that an increase in the film tax credit from $60 million to $150 million and offer a 25% tax credit to films spending 60% of their budgets in Pennsylvania. Tom Cruise's latest movie was filmed in Pittsburgh, and he'll be coming back to the Steel City in December for the premiere of Jack Reacher.
Well, Jeff, a library not too far from Olean will be getting its TV debut, and they have promised to disclose a 15-year-old secret that's been hidden from the public all this time. WVTT's Ashley Masala has an update that you would need to hear about.
That's right, Alexa. The Rochester Public Library is about to get its 15 minutes of fame. Sci-Fi Channel's original TV show, Ghost Hunters, spent 2 nights in the 80-year-old allegedly haunted library back in August after staffers reported disembodied voices, footsteps, moaning, and odd shadows. Rochester historian Christine Radarski contacted a team from the Atlantic Paranormal Society, also known as TAPS, after a security camera caught one of the library's heavy wooden doors opening and closing by itself when no one was around. Reports of an increase in the unusual activity started after a renovation was done on the building nearly a decade ago, and several staff members recounted their own personal experiences for the team. And actually, Jeff and Alexa, I caught up with an Olean resident, Danielle Flake, who says she never misses an episode of Ghost Hunters. Take a look at this interview that I had with her. And are you a fan of the show Ghost Hunters?
Oh, yes, for a really long time.
And have you heard previously that the Rochester Library was going to be on this week?
I caught it in the preview there that they have at the end of the shows.
So you think you're going to watch it?
Oh, God, yes. I never miss an episode.
And are you excited to see what they find?
I am very excited to see what they find.
The Ghost Hunters episode called Due Date with Death will air this Wednesday at 9 p.m. and will reveal the findings of an investigation which has been kept secret up to this point. Live from the WVTT Digital News Center, I'm Ashley Masala. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Ashley. Still to come on the 6 o'clock report. We'll have our first look at weather, what lies ahead. We'll tell you coming up. And also our global news update is straight ahead as well. Keep it locked here on News Channel 25 WVTT.